As you know, I do mostly strings on this channel, almost always guitars, ukuleles, the odd banjo, the odd mandolin, the odd cello, violin, mostly guitars. But every once in a while I get something interesting from the other worlds. A few weeks back I had a couple of clarinets that I showed you, and I've got the same thing again. This time in the world of recorders. Now, recorder is really technically the only excuse me, woodwind instrument that I play. I do love recorders, and I like these particular ones that somebody has asked me to sell for them. This one here is a Soprano or a Descant, depending on where you are in the world, and this is all Pearwood, 3-piece, made by Moeck, and this is the 4202 model. Let me just show you what it looks like. I'm not going to play them because these are for sale and I don't want to put my mouth on the piece, but I have my own Pearwood recorder and I really like playing it. Took lessons when I was a kid, so I sort of remember how to play the notes. But this is an all Pearwood, and this one goes new for about £150, which is a lot of money for a recorder, but that's because it's high end. So this is the let's see, the Moeck 4202 Rottenburgh series Pearwood 3-piece Soprano or Descant, and then its companion is a same brand, which I think they're Dutch or maybe German, and this is a, I would call it a treble, but you can also call it an alto. So it's an alto or treble. You can see that the color of wood is slightly different on this because it is boxwood, and it also has the cork joints. You can always tell a good uke by the cork joinery. The plastic ones, the cheap plastic ones, don't have that. And you can see this is a much bigger instrument. And it has the thumb block on there. Beautiful wood. You know, recorder is often seen as a beginning instrument for children. But it is a serious instrument. And there is a body of music that's written for it. My favourite being the recorder sonatas by, I think it's Vivaldi. Excuse my dog. However, there are other great compositions done for recorder as well. I think Benjamin Britten and other composers have done works for recorder. But this is the higher end of recorders. So that one there, the Boxwood, it's the 4304, also Rottenburgh series, but this time in Boxwood 3-piece treble or alto recorder, and that one goes for as much as 400. This particular brand, Moeck, I have discovered is carried by Thomann, who's the company that distributes Harley Benton guitars, and many other brands as well, so they may be familiar to you. What's the advantage of buying one of these as opposed to a plastic Yamaha or worse for £3 in a charity shop? Well, you'll hear it right away. There's a certain quality of sound that you can only get from board wood, that you just don't get from plastic reproductions. Also, the recorders feel better in the hand. The fingering, the joinery, just everything about them is of higher quality, and you can play them to a pretty high level, and do quite sophisticated stuff. Now, most people have only heard recorder in a school setting or in a student setting, but the professionals, you know, can play these things in mesmerizing ways. All kinds of literature done for all of the recorder family. So you've got, you know, your sopranos and your trebles, altos, even bass recorder. contrabass as well, which looks almost like a bassoon. And there's some really beautiful music done for recorder ensembles and solo recorder as well. So I always enjoy recorders. I have one that's a Pearwood, not one of this brand. I think it is I can't remember the name of the brand offhand, but I think it is of European descent, and it is solid Pearwood. So it was fun to get these and do a bit of research and help this person find a new home for them. I'd be tempted to buy them, but they're a bit pricey for me and my level of recorder playing. Plus I already have a nice Pearwood that I'm happy with, so I'll find new homes for them. But I thought to put them on the channel and make you aware of them. For those of you who are interested in instruments outside of the stringed variety. So these are Moeck recorders. Again, you saw a 4202 Rottenburgh Pearwood, and that's a Soprano, a Descant, and the 4304 Rottenburgh Boxwood 3-piece Alto or Treble recorder. So both really, really beautiful hardwoods that are quite often used in the woodwind world. It's not as hard as like grenadine or something like that, but they're relatively hard woods, slightly easier to carve, I would say, than the woodwinds that you find, you know, on oboes and clarinets and things like that. There are wood flutes as well. They haven't always been nickel silver. They were made back in the Baroque times. They were made principally with wood. So woodwinds, the nomenclature comes from the fact that most of them were made with wood at their origin point. Some of them have now shifted on to hybrid or metal substances. But the point of origin, they were made with wood and by skilled craftsmen as well. So anyway, there's a little something, a little departure from the string world into the world of woodwinds, this time recorders, and a company I hadn't been familiar with only by name, called Moeck. There you go. All right, folks. See you next time.